Hello foreigners, because you're all foreigners. We are not here. We are living in China, not discovering it. I'm Peter. You can call her by her English name, Emily. Emily, what do you have for us today?
So today's video is a little shorty, inspired by our commenter 𝗖𝗵cie from the UK, who asked if we needed anything. Hello, thank you, that was very thoughtful. And Peter and I do not need... We need some entertainment, but we're fine.
Well, don't send us any DVDs or anything. We have plenty.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, if you could help us and call the Hollywood networks and tell them to put some new shows on.
Yeah,
Super Bowl's over. Get some new programming, something in there, or
you can send puzzles. I like puzzles.
Puzzles are good.
Games.
Yeah. So Hollywood.
But she did get me thinking. I spent all morning researching what do we need, we, the people in China. And my friend, as I mentioned in my last video, she works as an administrator at the People's Hospital in Luzhou. And I asked her, does she know where I can point people towards? And she said that in our city, in Luzhou City, her hospital is coordinating the supplies effort. And what hospitals need is medical grade masks, medical grade goggles, medical grade coveralls, because that's the stuff. For it to be effective, they have to be able to throw it out every so often, and to throw it out every so often means they're going through the supplies that they have. So that's countrywide, that's the issue. And so if you wanted to send stuff to the people of Luzhou, to the Luzhou People's Hospital, I will put that address in the description, along with the qualifications for the equipment being sent, because they have specific needs, and they have stuff if you send it to them and it's not appropriate for treating communicable disease, they'll have to dispose of it. Also, if you do donate equipment, you'll have to send a certificate or something that authenticates that this is a real deal product and not just a mask with N95 written on it, N95 written on it in marker, because that's been an issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially with markers, someone's just sharpieing it.
Yeah.
This is good.
Someone cutting up sheets and just going mask.
Thanks a lot.
No, that's in the way that the world is. The first scammers that popped up were selling fake N20, and I don't know, I keep 25 N95 masks, which is the great. Are
you trying to pawn off some fake masks?
Yeah.
Some N94s?
N25s. I got a plenty. And so that got me thinking, because that's kind of an arduous thing to go through. And if you want to do that and make the effort, that I'm sure that will be appreciated. Another factor, though, is that if you're sending internationally to China, depending on where you're sending from, it could take anywhere from 1 week to 3 weeks to get here. But from all indications, 3 weeks from now, we might still have need for all that stuff.
Or act later.
But it's a case where it is like maybe the more helpful thing, or the easier thing, I don't know, I'm not sure, you'll have to think about this yourself, is to send money to organizations who are already here. And I found 3 that I feel like I can recommend, and I'll put links to these as well in the description. One is the 𝗖𝗵cie no ferrets are involved. 𝗖𝗵cie Heritage Foundation.
I like a whole zoo of just ferrets at the Ferritage
with their little masks on.
You put
they have the N25 masks.
You put what was the is it a ferret that fought the mongoose?
Ever?
No, like children's story. Who's the ferret? The mongoose, Mickey Mongoose, or was it a mongoose? Is a mongo a different thing than a ferret?
A mongoose.
I can't believe you can't think of a snake and a little Ricky Tikki Tavi. What's Ricky Tikki? Is he
monkeys are Mongai are able to fight
That's a
snakes.
small Yoda.
Yes.
Sorry.
Now I'm totally thrown. But the 𝗖𝗵cie Ferritage. They are an organization. 𝗖𝗵cie is the center of where this epidemic is happening. The numbers I just checked via my app, the amount of sick people counted today is approaching 30,000, and of those 20,000 are in Hubei and 10,000 are in Wuhan, the big city that's in the news. So I mean, while Luzhou could use their supplies, Hubei also is definitely very much in need, and this Hubei Heritage Foundation
I'm sure
is
Jesse,
on the ground.
our friend Jesse that we just got a hold of and asked if we need anything at the hospital would
appreciate me telling you not to bother. No, I mean, it's charity is hard. I mean, if you examine your motives and the morals behind charitable giving, it's not a simple choice. And Luzhou does not have an English language webpage that you can easily send supplies or money to. So I'm just saying, if that's not something you feel you can do, but you do want to do something, the Hubei Heritage, their page though is in Chinese, so you'll have to speak Chinese if you want to figure out how to donate. Or, this is where it gets more complicated, Hong Kong Red Cross has a China relief fund that you can earmark, and that page is in English, so that's easier to navigate if you're an English speaker. I could not find an English language or any page, in fact, for China Red Cross, so that's why I didn't recommend them. But if you know where you can send that money to them, if you want, let us know. I'm very open to being educated on this issue. This is just what I found in my research. So Hong Kong China Relief Fund, you can send to them, and that money will get towards the buying more masks for people who need them. And the third one I found is a charity called Give2 with the number 2 Asia, which has a dedicated coronavirus outbreak China relief fund. And this, I'd never heard of this organization before, but I looked them up on a site called Charity Navigator, and they get 3 out of 4 stars, with a good rating for
pretty good is better.
The money you give gets to the people in need rather than paying anyone's exorbitant salary. I think what they get dinged on is they don't raise a lot of money. But given that I've never heard of them, that's not entirely surprising. So that's if you're sitting at home and you're feeling like I need to do something, those are some things that you can do, I guess.
Yeah, it's a community effort. Any little thing that we can think of. It is. Like, thanks again to Kelly McNamara.
Yeah.
She put this in our comments just today, and it's 3:30. So you spent all morning and afternoon looking up this information, and if you can figure out any more information, put it down below.
Yeah. Frustratingly, a lot of the coverage is just about what rich people have given, and not even like where they've donated, just like who's donated so much money. And so charity is a complicated thing, because it's the problems it's trying to fix are complicated problems. Like if you're like, why is my money going to masks for doctors? It's because that's who's on the front lines fighting and treating these people, both so they get better and so that they are not vectors for more disease, getting more people sick. Because to keep it in perspective, I think a large fraction of people who come in contact with the virus may get like common cold symptoms to like a little bit worse. And then some other and I'm sorry if you're frustrated by my vagueness, but that's what I've got. There's another portion of the population that will get really sick and need to be hospitalized and take oxygen. And then there's a third population, but it's the smallest part, who will actually get sick and die from this virus. But the scary part of it is that it's uncontained, and the feeling that like we could all be sick. But also to keep that 30,000 number in your mind, it's rising rapidly, but that's still like the population of Ithaca, New York. across a country of millions.
And
so
no one wants
we're
to
not
pick on
like
New
all
York.
sitting over here sick and dying. We're all sitting over here scared and bored without masks so we don't go outside. But that's so if you felt you needed to do something, those are some things you could do. If you have ideas, I'd love to see some discussion in the comments because, you know, I advocated for a global community the other day.
Ta-da.
Let's do it. Noodles to you.